So, I need to go buy food because it's that time. But in the meantime, and I hope you sit back and watch some of these videos until I come back. And then we'll begin with the trailer and we'll talk about the movie and eventually get to commenting on it.
How did I get in? That's none of your business.
It's a bunch of comedians hanging out with some friends. You're not supposed to be here, but if you're cool, you can come and hang. If you've ever been offended by anything, don't come in. So you stopped doing stand-up altogether for quite a while?
I want to start doing it again to make some money.
Yeah, we were worried about you, Drew. We would think I was.
Well, Larry the Cable Guy made like $21 million the other year.
Oh, that's now the barometer, 21 million?
No, the barometer is Larry the Cable Guy making $21 million.
Well, Larry the Cable Guy popped, right? I have to quote Mark Maron. You know Mark Maron, yeah? Very funny guy. He said something hilarious. He said, you know when you're eating popcorn and you get those little kernels on the bottom that haven't popped yet? He goes, those are the ones with integrity. He's funny. We should get him. Well, your actor Reg is just now spending time in America's show business. It must be a trip for you.
Everything.
Tell your story. American, you went over to the UK, started doing stand-up over there. And it's you notice a difference, right, between the UK and here?
Well, I've only played a couple of gigs here and a few gigs in New York. And yeah, it is different. I remember I went to do some gigs in Harlem. And as I was getting out of the taxi, there was these two guys. They're in front of the club. And I said, yo, is this the comedy club? And he said, yeah, you better be fucking funny.
That's good advice.
I was closing a gig in Atlanta, and the comic that was on in the middle spot came to me and asked my permission to sell CDs. And it was like, what? I ain't your fucking mama. Do what you want to do.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. You let him sell CDs? How does a dude start out in England? Like, if you were brand new and you said, I want to be a...
Drew, we know people. We can get you in. You'd be straight through.
They had a
5
program
minutes.
in England for a while. They had a program that I was on at the Queen's Theatre. They brought American comics over.
Right, Dennis Leary hosted it.
It was fantastic, but I remember one of the comics, I won't say who it was.
Better fucking say who it was.
We'll get to it. It was Paul, but... No, but the thing is, this guy, every night, was closing, and it was a 10-minute thing on Wheel of Fortune. But they don't get Wheel of Fortune in England. And he'd come off it, and I'd say to him, you know what, they don't get Wheel of Fortune. He said, no, it's just a tough house. And I just, oh my God.
You see, I use universal references. I say Kit Kats because they're everywhere, Mars bars because they're all around the world. I talk about bus systems.
just
No, shut the fuck up. No. Listen, you shithead. The point is...
I wish I could afford to travel over the world before I started doing stand-up.
No, but the point, you listen to the fucking point. The point is, without much adjustment, you can actually miss it. If that guy had understood it, and if he explained his references, he could have got his points in.
I worked with a guy once, and he used to ask everybody, who golfs?
Yeah.
And, and he would wait for a fucking answer from the audience. And I was sitting there going, who gives a fuck who golfs? Tell your fucking golf joke, goddammit. Seriously.
I know a comic in England, when the jokes aren't going well, and he wants to get the audience roaring back on his side, he goes, who here likes sex? And of course, they're going to go, and it's cheap.
I've done shows where I could ask that, and they would go, fuck you. Who likes sex? Go fuck yourself.
Yes, the only way to do it is, on the golf thing, is who here plays golf? Yeah, okay. Well, tennis is interesting, and then go for the tennis. Just spin all the stuff.
Guys do it to kill time. They got to do 10 minutes and ask questions.
No, I think it's because of fear. I think they fear.
That's what I think it
I
is.
think it's fear that people will go, golf? I've never heard of golf.
I think that it's not realizing that you don't actually need a Segway.
Yeah.
I had the amazing fortune when I was real young, just a baby comic, teeny tiny baby comic. I was a fetal comic. I was sperm. I was just sperm. I was really, I mean, I'd been doing comedy for like 6 months.
We get it. You attack me first. I'm gonna do and now the point.
By the way,
Bill Cosby.
This whole bench is very tough. This whole section very tough. We have a good bench, a kind bench.
Yes. So
Bill Cosby, I had the chance to meet Bill Cosby, and he spent like a lot of time with me. And I would ask those stupid starting questions like, you know, how do you do segues, whatever. And he said, you know what, you don't have to always be funny on stage. He said, you just have to be interesting.
In 5-minute shots, though, in stand-up shots, Tonight Show shots, Letterman shots, it is all about the segues.
yeah, I can't do those.
That's what's new to me. When I did New York for the first time, and they tell you, you got 5 minutes, 6 if you're cooking. I'm used to doing 45 minutes to an hour. But it's great because you're trying to edit yourself. And while you're on stage, you can be like, okay, the next line in my head is a nice lateral move, but it's not necessary. And then
You said something really interesting about jazz and stand-up comedy. Starting in America.
Yes, everybody knows that jazz is a uniquely American art form. That's also true for stand-up comedy. Stand-up is purely uniquely American, but the rest of the world has taken this form, expanded it in so many different directions.
I would only change one thing in that. I think.
Stole it from the Indians.
No, yes. That's probably true. Well, you know,
All right, I said it. I don't care.
the first stand-up comedians were actually cavemen standing around a fire going, there were these two guys, right? One was a bear. One was a bear and the other one wasn't. But I think stand-up has been around in different countries. But alternative stand-up, I think Lenny Bruce, the Godfather, I don't know what you guys think, but for us, we feel that Lenny Bruce started it. But we couldn't get into Lenny Bruce. It was very difficult. It was the hipster language that he used, and it was very Americana-centric.
Early British stand-up was filled with sort of music hall semiotics.
My impression that with the English music hall comedy, that tradition is more like, that's why she says he's my wife, and you know, it's a lot of dancing like this. And it's not.
They do it. I tell you, he's good. There was a really weird thing they used to do in mainstream comedy, which is they used to go, my old man said, follow the van. Vans are interesting, aren't they? And they do this. And they, what the? Who told them to do that? It was just weird. But 1979, at the end of punk, then alternative comedy came out in the Comedy Store, which is not linked to the Comedy Store here in LA, and everything's come out of that since then. And it took over the mainstream.
American stand-up was the first time, I think, that people actually used to start getting on a stage and say, you know, I'll tell you what I think. You know, the concept of I tell you what I think. You know, try that in Spain in the 30s. You know what I feel? So, I mean, there was no...
Italy in the 20s.
I love comics that have an opinion. Like, comics that have an opinion bug me. I don't care if he's angry at what, you know, or if I don't agree with his opinion, or her opinion, but if they have an opinion, a really strong one, then I'm hooked.
I mean, the best stand-ups, I believe, tend to ruin a generation of comics. Like Bill Hicks ruined a generation of comics in Britain who tried to... Richard Pryor ruined 3 or 4 generations of black comics.
Because everyone tries to be like them.
Trying to competent fakes.
So many of those people take the wrong lesson away, and they just, you know, get the externals and miss the heart.
Jazz and comedy have something else in common to me, but I think jazz and comedy live best in clubs still. In clubs with low ceilings where you get up close and it really rings like a bell.
Speaking of which...
I'm trying to do big intimacy.
Big intimacy.
Sounds like the name of a show.
I'm playing Madison Square Garden, so I do believe that it changes, yeah. Intimacy is great, and if it gets bigger, it becomes an event. I just don't want to leave it to rock and roll guys. Just, they have all the fun. They can play arenas and stadiums, whatever the hell they want.
Are you using, like, video and all that stuff?
Yeah, we have 3 screens. I have a full-length screen and 2 side screens. So trick is don't try and push the energy out and run all over that huge stage. Just stand there and just bring it in. So I'm just experimenting with lots of screens to try and work out what to do.
You're in that screen phase.
Well, you've got to, you know. It could ruin it for a generation. Like, everyone's going to screens everywhere.
Well, do you remember when Steve Martin started playing big, huge halls? Madison Garden size things.
Well, he had a lot of street kind of stuff in it, you know, the stuff when you're juggling cats, and I used to do street, and it's really difficult to write. When you think of great visual things, it's really difficult to come up with another one. Talking's so much bloody easier.
Did you work with a lot of props?
Yeah, a ton of props. When I was a solo act, I used to escape from manacles on a 5-foot unicycle. And when I was a double act, I used to make a bowl of cornflakes disappear. I would do the magician's assistant. My partner said, put a bowl, cornflakes in, cornflakes milk goes into it. How can it disappear? With the cloth of death. And I just put the thing over my head, and then he'd wave around this magic wand. I'd just be eating them with my face. And then he'd give me the magic wand, which had an enormous wooden spoon on the end of it, which I just continued doing. And so it was rubbish stuff like that. And it was a knife-throwing thing, and there was a beaver that went through a hoop of newspaper. So there was a massive props. And then I was at the Comedy Store in London, and I just noticed the respect that was going to the stand-ups who were saying, you know, God, does God exist? And cheese, what can we do with it? And they can just talk about anything. And then they go, well, I'm going to have some drinks. And I'd be dragging all my stuff off the stage and trying to mop up. And I felt such an idiot. I thought, I'm stopping this and starting that one.
You know, I would pay good money to see you and that other guy do your old act. I bet you can make some coin. You could call it Eddie Izzard's old act. You could call it my old act. And just explain this is the one I started out with.
And at least
No,
now,
I'm not going to do it.
yeah, but at least now you'd have people carrying the stuff for you. I saw Bob Dubek sitting right there, open for Linda Ronstadt once, when she was going through that whole era when she was doing elegant songs with Nelson Riddle arrangements and gowns. It's all love songs, and she came down on a half moon in a gown like this, and the orchestra is all in dinner jackets, and Nelson Riddle raises his arms like that, and a guy, no kidding, in the middle of the audience shouts, "Rock and roll, Linda!" And there was one of the great moments in show business where she, Nelson Riddle, and everyone in the orchestra just did a very brief...
And you went for Diana Ross?
Yes.
For 3 years?
Yeah, I toured with her off and on for like 3.5 years.
Now, how does that work? Because I feel that music and comedy don't mix well because music is a field gig and comedy is a mind gig. But
Yeah.
then
Yeah, it didn't go well.
a comedian comes on.
No, here's the thing: is you get no billing. Nobody knew there was an opening act. And I would go and I would say, look, we've been doing this now for a year and a half. Can I maybe get billing? So she'd just go, no, but here's another $5,000. You know, so I had no billing. So that was the real challenge because I was basically on while people were still coming in and sitting down.
Wow.
And then one day, yes, it was fucking insane. And then one day, this thing, you know how sometimes something will just come to you full blown, lights would go down, the music would start up, you hear that drum roll, you know, and you'd hear, ain't no mountain high enough for, 15 bars. And then the announcer would come in and go, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Diana Ross Show. And the crowd goes, yeah! And then they go, please welcome your special guest, Paul Provenza. And you could hear thousands of people go, oh. A fucking nightmare, right?
That hurts.
So one day I came out on stage and I just said, okay, I know. You get all dressed up, you come out here, the lights come down, the music comes up, you're all excited. I show up, you're pissed off, I get it. You didn't know I was going to be here, but you know when you go to the deli and you buy a sandwich and they give you that pickle with the sandwich? They don't tell you you're going to get the pickle. They just give it to you. I'm the pickle. And that changed everything. That changed everything. And if I hadn't come upon that, it probably would have been about a week and a half gig.
I opened for Casey and the Sunshine Band. One show, but it seemed like 3.5 years. Because it was at the Coca-Cola Stadium, it was like 16,000 people, and you come out, and 4 or 5 minutes in, they came out to do the sound test right behind me. So you're performing, and a guy behind the bass drum will go, and then into the mic, test! Test! And really no brotherhood of performing?
Wow.
Now, there's something I got to say on top of this. If you do your bit of stand-up, and then someone comes on with headphones on and goes, go longer. No, that's fine. And it's as if we're just sort of cows. You can milk us. And we go, so anyway, chickens, what, And this is because some band is backstage having a hissy fit about some bloody thing, or there's something not working, or the mic's fallen off. And they never say to the bands when they finish, do another one, play another one. The stand-up's back there, and he's having a snooze. playing, and we are used as cannon fodder.
The most humbling realization I ever had as a comedian. This is just put it all in perspective for me. I was working a cruise ship.
I was working it.
Man's got to eat. And you can eat 24/7 on a cruise ship. But
This is after Diana Ross, yeah? This is
it was good money. Shut up, Mr. I'm playing Madison Square Garden.
Well,
No, I did everything. Any gig that came my way, I did it.
That's the point. Don't do that.
Every gig.
I guess that $5,000 ran out, eh?
Yes.
By the way,
Yes. So you do it in the cruise ships, and they do midnight comedy shows. They would bring people like us in to do midnight shows because those are generally younger audiences in their 70s. And I get friendly with the cruise director, who's sort of like the MC of the ship. He explains to me one night, and he said, well, the reason that you're hired to perform at midnight is so not everybody on the ship goes to the buffet at the same time.
That's it. Similar thing.
And I realized I am a traffic cone. That's it.
I did my one and only cruise I did about 6 months ago, Sweden to Finland, and it was actually an all-night cruise.
How was it?
And it was weird because young men and single women, they go on these cruises and they get drunk and they have sex because they can't do it on the mainland in this way. And I asked the guy, I said, why do y'all do this? And he said, it's just an understanding for women. If you get fucked underwater, it doesn't count. And so,
Is this international marine law?
if that's not a book title, I don't know what is. We all have a cruise. I have one. I was single at the time. It was a Norway thing, and one of the women in the Norwegian sailor thing, the white and crisp and swimmer's shoulders, and the classic. It's like the granddaughter of a Viking. I was so taken with her. I thought, this is someone maybe after the show, and I walked by her. The body odor was so astonishing. I was never so stunned. Everyone is right when they say that Americans shower too much, but every so often you want to say, ever been in an elevator in Oslo? Because this was nuts. It was so nuts, and she actually came up to me and she said, well, would you like to get a beer or something? And I said, for the first time, you know what? No. I have such an early class tomorrow.
I have to take a shower. Get me? I'm taking a shower right now. Maybe you can join me in the fucking shower.
But honestly,
We can take a shower together, then have a beer.
What's the cigarette?
Smoke in her face to get the odor.
Was she wearing a uniform?
Yeah.
Because you can't clean uniforms. That's the thing. They move around and you sweat. Well, you can't. You could dry clean them, but you can't wash them in a bloody tub. They just fall apart. They're uniforms.
I know they don't stop bullets, but I thought you could at least wash them. No? It's so funny as comics, by the way, we pick something visual.
No,
this is so cool. We're using washboards from 1,000 years ago.
I think it could be a uniform thing. I think you need to go around with some friends who've got great noses and around uniform people.
You know what's wonderful is that we're just meeting for the first time, and I don't know, is he yanking me about the uniform thing?
No.
It could be that you actually can't
No, there's an Australian triple act called the Doug Anthony All-Stars who were fantastic. They were mad if anyone ever saw them. They wore uniforms with parade. It's like the Sergeant Pepper's gone bonkers in a punk Sergeant Pepper's. And if you ever got close to them, those uniforms stunk like things had died and killed themselves and had rabies. And,
Well, wait a
and it
minute.
was just, it was the most god-awful thing. And they couldn't clean them.
Well,
They
hold
just
on a
couldn't
second,
clean them.
though. I was in the marching band in high school. No, really.
I was too. Something. Yeah. Tatica, tatica,
I'm telling you, we have a... By the way, and that's why I'm telling you, we have a great bench here. But I was in marching band. Now, these were uniforms that thick road to perdition material, where it's just really, really thick. And you wear them. You march on Memorial Day, July 4th. They smelled mothball-y. But they were goofy hats and very thick material and long stripes down the pants. But everyone wore them. They didn't smell. Again,
Back in my day, we didn't stink when we wore our
Privacy
uniform.
Police is now stalking you.
Back in my day, if we wore a uniform, we learned how to wipe your ass once in a while.
You know, there's an apocryphal story of a comic who did so badly.
Is this Jack Craven?
Yeah, I've heard 10 different names. I don't know.
I was just going to bring it up. Go ahead, tell
The
us.
story, as I heard it, was that it was only a couple of weeks after the Achille Lauro incident.
That's right. That's right.
Right.
That's right.
And Leon Klinghoffer.
Too soon.
Wheelchair bound.
We're all trying to have fun here, all right?
Well, they shot Leon Klinghoffer in the wheelchair and pushed him overboard, right? Get on the ship and, you know, they give the rundown. The people run, think, okay, here are the things. Can't do this, can't do that, can't do this, can't do that. Right off the bat, first thing was, do not mention the recent incidents at sea. 5 minutes into his act, there's a guy in the front row in the wheelchair, and he goes, come on, laugh. It's not like we're going to shoot you in the head and throw you overboard. And about 3-4 hours later, he's in bed asleep, and there's a knock on the door, and he opens the door, and there's all these people in uniforms, probably smelling quite well. Go, pack your stuff up, you're leaving the ship. And they airlifted him off a ship in the middle of the Caribbean.
Wow.
But they said to him, they said, no, you have to leave because we can't guarantee your safety.
It's not like I'm an old guy in a wheelchair. What are they going to do to me? I can run. In comedy, again, it's the same thing as he just did. It's like the washboard again. This works, too. It just feels like something...
I've used this a lot. It's good for detective stuff. And what do you mean?
Yeah, I do it with...
If you do that one, you do that
The
one.
guy was complaining.
I don't know.
It's a complaining
I don't know
guy.
what you're talking about.
Let me tell you about what I do.
Well, I've never done a cruise ship. No, but I've done some really crap gigs. Have you ever dismissed an audience? That is a great feeling.
Dismiss. What you mean?
Wait, you could do that?
Yeah, I did twice. Twice I dismissed.
Will they still pay you for that?
No, it was street performing, so it's slightly different gig.
you
They're going to pay at the end. But it's interesting. I was out there, I was in a double act, I was out there, and we were given every bit of energy and excitement on a day that was grey and overcast in London. So we're really working our asses off here. We're putting a lot in. You're giving us nothing back. Just go. And then, but interestingly, that dynamic they were not expecting, and then they would not go. They found that too interesting. They didn't massively change their demeanor, but they didn't go. They just stayed, and I walked off.
By the way, I've got one for you. Iowa State Police Association convention. 1,000 officers and their wives in a domed ballroom in the Davenport Hilton. I'm in the back in my little sport jacket next to a trooper in uniform who's going to walk me through the room up front.
How do you smell?
After...
Goes through everyone's
You know
mind.
what? I'm next to this guy. He's one of those Norman Rockwell troopers, too, with the giant shoulders like Rulon Gardner, and the chest is 3 feet from front to back. One of those. And he's got the stripe thing across, and he's going to walk me up front. They have 2 hours of speeches, which is typical, as we all know, at conventions and awards and this and that. And then the chief says, and now, before we bring on our entertainer, as you know, last week, young Danny McFadden was shot and killed in the line of duty. And I turned to this guy and said, what'd he say? And this guy leans down and says, we're going to have a little memorial service now. And I said, oh my God, you know, I'm a comic. And he said, shh. Now, they bring up the guy's partner who breaks down, can't finish the speech. He breaks down and walks off weeping. They bring up the widow and the family to accept a foundation check. And she faints, passes out. They have to revive her with salts. They cart her off on a stretcher. They unfurled a portrait of the guy the length of the arch next to an American flag. Everyone stands and sings a hymn, and then, as if it had been scripted, the guy says, and now, here to make you laugh. Here's the thing. Every comic knows this. It would never enter our heads to not go on. No comic would ever say, this is very bad.
I heard from a magician in Britain called Paul Daniels, who I heard that he did this. So it's only for comedians, and it's a tip to make it slightly easier for your first 10 minutes. You have to go on and say, this person has passed away, it's a terrible thing. This gig is for them. This is the one we do that for them.
Dad, we're sorry about it. This is for him. Two cunts walk into a fuck shop.
You can go straight in.
Stop, he'll be hurt.
Hey, Gary, are you Twittering?
I am. The online response has been overwhelmingly positive, Paul. Also, after the show, if you want to ask the bartender, we are serving Leon Klinghofers. It is 2 shots and a splash.
Nicely done, nicely done. Thank you all for coming. How about a hand for our guests, Mr. Drew Carey, Mr. Larry Miller, Reginald D. Hunter, Eddie Izzard, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for being here. Come on back to another green room.
Oh, hey, yeah. No, it's really just for the comics now. So I'm sorry. We got. Okay. All right. No, you can't come in. Okay.
Hey, come here. There's a bunch of comedians hanging out with some friends. You're not supposed to be here, but if you're cool, you can come and hang. If you've ever been offended by anything, don't come in.
Depends on when this airs, because it's after Armageddon, we're fucked.
As long as you just don't look at too much on the internet and you don't watch the news, you're usually in total bliss.
That's why I say the best thing to do is just watch animal porn on the internet.
Were you not hopeful that there would be change with Obama in office?
We love magic, man. We don't like talking reality. That's why I never really fell for the whole thing. We like that's why people think ancient dishwashers have predicted the end of the world in 2012, man. I don't believe in that.
Ancient dishwashers.
The apocalypto goofy little short dude. I don't believe in it. You feel this though? You feel this. It's just like, ooh, because I said ancient dishwashers. But let's be honest, that's some funny shit. But predicted the end of the world. Bob, you got a fucking joke about something about the end of the world, nigga?
Jump in, Roseanne.
I hate hope. Hope is fucking bullshit. And really, I think anything that takes you out of reality or like fucking dealing with reality is just bullshit. And there
And
for a
if there's
reason.
anybody who knows, it's you.
What, reality? I have my own reality. It's like stark. I don't really search for a lot of meaning or fucking whatever.
That's a statement at the loss of hope for people. It ain't no loss of hope for society. Look, the politicians do what they're supposed to do. But let me tell you, when you take a job as a person and you have to tell me, okay, it's my job. I'm gonna give you a fake parking ticket or I'm gonna bash you in your head because I'm told to do that. No matter how much it's your job, you a part of the reason we all gonna get fucked up anyway. So
I got into a little trouble at the airport because, I have a whole issue with the TSA and all that bullshit security, which is a fucking puppet show, let's be honest. It's a joke.
It's a total fraud.
Well, I've spent a little time in some small windowless rooms because I don't want to be complacent, because complacency is the problem. People just go, oh, well, that's the way it is, and well, that will be the way it is. So, but then, I got to make a flight because every year or two I have a gig. So I just was hot under the collar one day. I was traveling a lot, and they started with the bullshit, and I got a little hissy fit, and the guy goes, hey, I'm just doing my job. And I said, oh, yeah, where's the last time I heard that? Oh, yes, Nuremberg. And boom, right into the little room. But
I'm always afraid they'll go up my butt. Like, when they take you, and I was like...
where do you fly?
No, the guy, they put me in the little room, and the guy started putting on rubber gloves. I'm like, you can't go in my butt. You can't go in my butt. Because I'm terrified, because who knows what the fuck people are going to do now.
here's my problem with that whole thing. A fat black bitch that is at the motherfucking gate, right? I mean,
Patrice,
she's
can
awful.
you just say her name?
It has to be Tamika, and don't try to set me up to do your white humor for you, nigga. I feel you, Bob.
I want to
Here's the
contact her.
problem.
I'm going to call her right now.
Our first offense is someone trying to get home at 5 o'clock to see Maury versus somebody who lives, breathes, and eats killing me. And I don't trust them to make my life safe because they're reactive. They're not thinking of things. I think of things all the time on how do I blow up the airport if I'm a terrorist?
I still don't understand what the problem is with having people looking inside your ass. I don't understand. I put Altoids in there, I trick or treat that way.
I just know one thing. When I go through the line, I pick Tamika. Because Tamika loves my white ass because I was on Roseanne. There's that funny white girl from Roseanne! Come on through! This is the way it's going to be. I'm working with it.
Did you ever think that when we were young, back when we were alive, that we would be going to the fucking airport and see the army guys with guns and badges and shit like this fucking Nazi Germany? Did you ever think it was going to be like that?
Well, of course I didn't.
Are you telling me?
Okay.
No, I didn't think that.
Hey, Bob, say something attached to what the fuck they just said.
All right. Okay.
What can come out your ass after that? Let's figure it out. Some chewing gum, nigga? What's coming out your ass, Bob? Will you fucking...
First thing, I have never had the N-word thrown at me more.
Really?
I like saying nigga. I want to use it. So do I. Exactly. So it's not. And this is the thing. I love the motherfucking word, right? And not because I love to call anybody a nigga. I call white women nigga. It's just I like that word.
Why do you like that word? Can I ask?
Because black people ain't getting no money for slavery. We ain't gonna get reparations. What we did have is language. We got to say anything we want, the way we want, which is the reparations, which is the fact that I can say cracker all day, and everybody goes, But because that was my payoff. As a black man, I get to say what the fuck I want to white people anytime I want.
So are we fucking even yet, or what?
I have to say, it's still dangerous to have any kind of opinion that isn't a right-wing opinion. It's still
dangerous?
Absolutely.
I know one thing for sure. When I was, 16 years old, people talked about abortion, and women talked about abortion. It was like, a prideful conversation. It was a conversation about the survival of what a woman's future was. And now I wouldn't fucking start talking about abortion. And I may talk about it here because I know you'll cut the shit out.
Oh, no, I ain't. This show is all about
But,
you talking about abortion.
It's like the fact.
As a matter of fact, a little later on, we're going to give you one.
Honey, I had mine, and I enjoyed every minute of it. And my boyfriend was Catholic, so you put that in your fucking pipe and smoke it. It was a long fucking time ago.
Maybe it's just that it's
I
dangerous.
wake up every day and I think about how old that baby would be right now.
That's how I feel.
That's a good point.
Hang on.
That's an interesting thing you're about to say.
I think that maybe it's for women that it's dangerous to have anything but a right-wing opinion.
I think it goes like this. Black women can say anything they want. White women can say 95% of the things they want. Black guys can say the next level of things they want. And straight white dudes can't say nothing.
I want to ask Rosie about this. Speaking of women taking risks,
Yeah, I got in a little bit of trouble for that, too.
That is fucking
It's so funny.
hysterical.
It's so funny, but like,
You are so out there, Rosie.
I'll tell you.
He looks like Hitler in the picture.
Don't I look like
Just
Hitler?
like Hitler, like you have his
Thank
face.
you. Thank you. Check out my fucking Hitler shit. It's Hitler.
these are little gingerbread Jews, aren't they? Yeah.
It's like a Jewish woman, and she's dressed up like Hitler, and you know, he's in drag, Hitler, and he's baking cookies, and he's really proud of them, but also he's looking off into the horizon because he has a dream. It was for Heat magazine. It was their Germany issue, and who better a symbol of Germany than Hitler?
And now, what did your detractors have to say about
Oh
this?
my God, you don't want to piss off Jews. Even if you're a Jew, don't piss off Jews.
Nobody pisses off Jews worse than Jews.
Yeah, all Jews hate each
So
other. That's
Jews
true.
went crazy over this,
Yeah,
understandably.
and I don't see understandably. It really pissed me off because they're like, you're making fun of the people in the ovens. Well, I'm not making fun of the people.
You kind of are, though.
I kind of am not.
I mean, let's be honest here.
Say
Only
that.
thing would have been worse if you made the cookies skinny.
Wow.
No, that's so not right. Can I finish up?
Yes, please,
Okay.
please.
Also, there's another deeper layer to it. You know, just the everyday. I mean, moving off of this Holocaust, there's been about 50 of them since then. That's what I'm kind of trying to say is like, Jesus Christ, it's so fucking everyday now, Holocaust. It's like baking cookies.
Well,
and
well,
you know, it
well,
really
shit.
is. It
Yeah.
really is.
That's beautiful.
Were you not aware when you were doing this that that's not what people would be thinking? That this
Roseanne has enough faith
I don't give a
in
fuck what
humanity.
people think. That's it.
that?
I care what people do. I don't care what they think. That's what I'm trying to say is let's stop the Holocaust. Like when I did sing the Star Spangled Banner. Hey, let's care about freedom instead of symbols of freedom for a fucking change. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm just really old. When you're postmenopausal, man, you're kind of crazy.
You've been postmenopausal for a long fucking time.
You know what's particularly tragic is that you can't be nuanced anymore. That
That
you can't
is really
be
great point.
layered or ironic.
Right.
That you have to serve it up absolutely blatant. Otherwise, people won't get it. And that's what's most disturbing about our culture.
That's really true.
Most of that, in terms of art and comedy, actually is coming from the left.
I agree. So I totally fucking agree.
Explain it. Explain stuff.
Because the political correctness thing took over.
Right.
And now,
political correctness, which is a well-intended, meaningful effort to include and to not just casually accept things that we had casually accepted for generations, has been bastardized into some Orwellian sort of...
It's just to shut people up. I mean, the left loves to censor people and shut them up. The left and the right, they're the same fucking thing.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
It was like years ago when I first started performing, and all these like lesbian feminists in Seattle like surrounded me like I thought they were gonna like scalp me.
Fuck, that's hot.
Because I was wearing a fucking skirt, and they said, "Do you know what you're doing to the feminist movement?"
Yeah.
I said, "Yeah, hopefully feminizing it."
Now, you mind if can I ask Roseanne and Sandra if it's better now to be a woman doing comedy than it was when you started?
It's easier for me.
Well, I think it's easier for everybody to do comedy now because it's just
Really?
Right.
Yeah, because once again, we're back to just at the common denominator of total stupidity. Because nobody wants to do the work. But, anybody can just get up now and fucking do the shit on a reality show. And they're fucking applauded like they've been out there doing the shit for 30 years. I don't think there's anybody sitting here who didn't, at 5 years old know that this is what they were going to do.
One of the nice things Richard Pryor said to me, which affected me a lot, was, how old were you when you knew you were funny? And I said, I was 4. And he said, yeah. He said it at the same time that I said it. He said, yeah, but 4. You're born to do it. You don't have any choice.
I remember seeing Richard Pryor when I was a kid on Ed Sullivan. When I saw him, it was like, I just got it. I got that he was inside the stereotype. Right. I got that he was right inside it and pushing out.
People ask me who my favorite comedians are, is Richard Pryor and George Carlin. And I didn't look at them and go, I could do that's what I could do. I looked at them and said, I'm funny, but I can't do that.
Well, you know what?
Now people watch comedy and go, shit.
They also inspire
I can do that shit. I was hilarious till I started doing comedy, man.
I hear that.
Comedy took all my funny away, man.
Let me ask you this. Is it the commerce that did it to you?
It's the fact that I had to pay a bill and the fact that when I first started, I used to care about whether this guy laughed, this guy, this woman. But then as I got my first compliment on my first paycheck, whatever, I started to use people.
You talking about in the business sense?
Like, if I think somebody is in here that can do something for my career, I'm using these people to show you how funny I am to get what I want, as opposed to really loving them. But I'm trying to love the people again. That's what made me start comedy.
So at what point did you realize that had happened to you and you decided to
When I got
stop?
suicidal. When I was sitting there broke, this is back when Burger King first came out with 99-cent sandwiches, and I had 2 of them on my stomach, 1 in my hand. And if I had a gun, because I came from the first time I ever did the Aspen Comedy Festival, I killed so hard I was scared I was going to be famous and shit. And then it didn't happen like I wanted it to happen, and I got disappointed. And I said, fuck it, I'm gonna just do what I do. Which is why motherfuckers don't know me from a goddamn. You heard the claps. Roseanne, wow! 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 We should be wooing.
The meat. And what about your material, man? You're feeling good about that?
Yeah. I love that. I love being
Hello.
able to say
Hi.
anything I want. I had to learn to stop caring about people not laughing.
How's the
Because
stream?
the idea of comedy, really, is not everybody should be laughing. It should be about 50 people laughing
I'm finally
and 50
here.
people horrified.
Right.
Because when I was,
Let's just let this finish and play
you know what I
on
mean? It's supposed to be people that get it and people that don't get it. People, for some reason, the people who don't get it
Then I'll get to
have
talking.
a lot more energy to say.
I'll get to talking about The Woman, the movie. I hope somebody watched it. I don't know who watched it, but maybe you watched it, Finny.
I've had that.
I heard that.
I'm calling you Finny, by the way. I hope that's all right with you.
One of my favorite stories is like Sandra, I heard in the Catskills that you were on
fucking
stage
hell, I
and
hate
it was all
this.
old Jewish people.
Well, no, they told me it was the singles
I
weekend
want
at
a
the Concord.
chopsticks, bro.
When I went in later, it was the story they tell everybody because it's so legendary. And some old guy, he's about 80, he says, say something nice, Sarah. He thought she was fucking Sarah Bernhardt. And she looked at him, and you said, eat my pussy. Which I think's great.
I did?
She went, oh my goodness.
I blocked that one out.
Patrice, you have to stop worrying about your careers, because you
I've
always say,
stopped worrying about it. It's done.
Mini-me. No. Vern
I'm
Troyer.
40 with high blood pressure and
Got
diabetes.
my
I'm finished. I'm the oldest dude doing this show, man.
You're fine. Vern Troyer is going to do another movie, Mini-Me. If he can get shot out of a cannon into a vagina, you're going to work the rest of your life.
Here's the funny shit about Bob. He leaves in like this shit's poignant.
Let me tell you something about vaginas, son.
Bob, just finger something already.
Somebody told me something
Am I
once
all alone again?
that I think about all the time, even
Damn.
though I did get filthy rich
Here I was, talking to someone here.
from comedy. But this
I know,
person said,
I'm late. I know, I should have
sometimes you get a
bought my
choice
food, but
between
the place was
being
not open until 6,
successful and
okay?
being great.
And now I have to eat, and I'm hungry, and then
with
I'll
all due
talk
respect,
after I eat.
as a friend, my suggestion, I have 3
Okay.
daughters,
Why, you trying to fix them up?
No, I'm suggesting.
Wow, man, you really are cool.
I knew this was going to go there. What I'm telling you is you got to get outside yourself. Everybody has to get out of the narcissistic, and I'm a big narcissist. What I'm suggesting to you is have a child. First thing, it's 7
true.
minutes, but a child will give you a projection
it's
outside
7
of
minutes?
7 minutes of material immediately.
Oh, okay.
But it's panel. It's what you need to do though is get outside yourself. They do bring.
Congratulations,
They
Mr.
give you.
Saget. It's a type 20.
Don't say tight about my child. But I'm saying if you get out of yourself and not make it about you and have a kid is a thing that does give you hope.
Bob,
I have three noble,
I understand what you're
amazing,
saying, but it also makes you go when they go, Patrice, you want to do Celebrity Fit Club? If I have a kid, I go,
We're gonna do
yes.
something
If I don't have
really
a kid,
good.
I go, nah.
Let me.
By Celebrity Fit Club,
Let me
Patrice
mix this.
means Full
Whoa!
House.
Holy shit! Look at this. This pad thai. Is it pad thai? Is it
Okay,
pad thai,
I
really?
did the show. Hello, my name is Bob. I did Full House. Hi, Bob. And it's
Okay,
just,
no kids. Quick question, Bob. You have no children. Do you do Full House and do you do America's
Oh, no,
Funniest
my
Home Videos? If
lipstick.
you didn't have any kids. And I'm not disrespectful, but I'm asking you that.
do you want the answer?
Yes.
I'll put it on later.
The first thing I did, it took me 8 years of hosting at the Comedy Store and the
So-
Improv in town and working clubs and trying to get a job.
All right, wait.
The first thing I got was a Richard Pryor movie, Critical Condition.
Okay. Let's finish this, and then I'll show you the trailer for the movie that I'm going to talk about. And then we'll get to talking about what the movie was about, blah blah blah, and then we can discuss it if there is anyone that is listening, you know. Yeah. Yeah, let's continue with this. Let's finish
I went
that.
and did that and then never thought I'd work again. I did just have a baby, and I wanted to be on a sitcom forever. And the producers of it saw me in the Richard Pryor movie, Critical Condition, and that's why they hired me. So I wanted to be on a sitcom. So the answer is, would I do it over again? This is the path. You go through the doors that open. And if the
so
door doesn't open, you
sticky.
can't push on it because you're fucked.
Yeah.
So, you know, I would play the gay father of 3 again.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Not now.
Gay on that show? You weren't gay on that show, were you?
No, I lived with 2 men in San Francisco. I was not gay.
I don't judge people in Hollywood that do anything because you just don't know, man. If Steven Spielberg says, hey, you're going to be in Jaws 12,
If you get a call from Steven Spielberg and he says you're in Jaws 12, you're going to be chum.
fuck you.
You don't want it. Do not take it. Don't take
It'll
that.
be the same call that Roseanne gets from Steven Spielberg when he says he loved that picture of you as the Nazi.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that'll happen.
That's shavuos.
Did you get? Did you get it? Did you get?
Let me just
like,
finish my
professional
pad thai,
trouble
and then
for
I'll
that?
get to.
Oh, I
the-
always get in professional trouble.
the trailer.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I do what I want to do. I'm so lucky. I do it when I want to do it, and I do it the way I want to do it. I don't kiss nobody's ass because I'm a comic. I have to spit in their eye, so when I get up there, I mean, they don't never invite me back again, but fuck, that's how it is.
When you say that, though, what does that mean to you?
Like, I got to meet the mayor of Jerusalem, and
Please come back as quickly as possible because I will be talking about the movie and it'll be fun. And then we can, I don't know, you know, enjoy and have some tea as well.
once in your fucking life, just go in there and be gracious, like fucking just be nice and gracious, keep your fucking mouth shut. But then I was like, I know I couldn't. And I couldn't because I'm a comic.
but you
and-
still pull off Icon, though.
Well, I want to say what I said to him because I'm so proud of myself. He was overlooking the dome of the rock and the mountain, the whole thing. The whole fucking thing's about a piece of real estate that big. That's why there's hundreds of wars for millions of years. And I said, how come we can't share that with Arabs and stuff?
Oh, shit.
And he said, he goes, well, that's what we're supposed to do after the Messiah comes. I go, he's not going to come till we do it, don't you think? And, you know, I mean, it was cool, because then I was like, and I was all shaking and sweating and stuff. And I mean, I shake now when I think about it, and my knees were shaking, but I was like, that's what you're supposed to do, I guess.
You went crazy on Fox News.
I have several times.
On your blog, especially your
Yeah.
award-winning blog.
Yeah.
What was the award it won?
I can't remember.
It was the most incoherent blog ever.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Really? It
I
won
just-
most incoherent blog?
Yeah.
That's great. No, that's an honor from AOL.
She was also voted best Nazi chef on the Food Channel.
An interesting little tidbit. I was on Fox News promoting something last year, and Ann Coulter literally ran into my arms and told me how much she loved me. And I was like, this is
Wow.
so... Oh, yeah. We made out. It was...
My friend Lee Camp is here. Say hello to Lee Camp. Lee Camp is a terrific comedian. Very funny guy. I'm going to run this clip. You'll appreciate this.
Oh, cool.
Lee, just set it up before I play it, will you?
They invited me on to tell jokes, and I did what you did, Roseanne. I was like, fuck telling jokes. So this is what I did.
You got to see this. This is when I
Oh,
fell
you
in
were
love.
on Fox?
Not only watch the clip that Lee is on, but then pay attention to what happens after it, just to show you the journalism we're discussing here.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys are going to have a lot more jokes for the rest of the campaign here.
Oh,
They just keep coming.
What? Can I just ask a question?
Sure.
What is Fox News? It's just a parade of propaganda, isn't it? It's just a festival of ignorance. Why, 1 million people are dead in Iraq. Come on, this is ridiculous. What's the point of this? This is insane.
I love
people
Fox
at home.
News.
Go outside. Go hug your
Lee, you should be
children.
more.
Well,
Honey,
Fox
you should
News
be more
will-
worried.
Love your family. You know.
And you
should
get
be more
all the
worried
news
that
at
Hillary
Fox.
Clinton
You get
is running,
all the news you can at Fox News. All right, thank
And
you.
I think, okay.
All right, that's it. All right. We're also talking about Captain Kirk this morning, and
How much do we love Lee Camp? What happened after it?
Go over some of my hate mail real quick,
Oh,
because it's
boy.
great. These people are geniuses. They really are. Fuck you for what you said, you commie. You can suck my ball sack and get a haircut, you fag. So,
Can I just say my
I'm
mother had not
accused-
been in her right mind?
I'm accused of being a fag, but he's asked me to suck his ball sack. So, that's something. This one said, at least Hitler didn't sit on his hands. He got to killing his enemies, as America should, starting with traitors like you coward bastard. All you want to do is talk your bull, asterisk, 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 asterisk. So, praising Hitler, he's gonna murder me, but he self-censored the word shit. It's also an odd way to compliment Hitler. He didn't say Hitler's a good man. He just said he didn't sit on his hands. So it's like, you can call him a mass murderer all you want, but I will not sit here while you call him lethargic.
Lee Camp, huh? Hey, guys, this has been phenomenal. Thanks for
What
being
a great
here.
show you've got.
Thank you.
This is your show, by the way, which I think is exciting
Yeah,
for,
it is
for all of us.
exciting.
Stroke the sack.
I'm happy about that too.
Wait a second.
I'm happy about that too, because Provision got nigga luck, and if he get a show on TV, I know I can get one on television.
Thank you. Thanks for coming and playing, man. Roseanne Barr, Patrice O'Neill, Sandra Bernhard, Bob Saget.
Oh, you got the shoving me out.
Come and hang out with us again, right? See what I was trying to tell you? This is amazing.
Well, that'd be fun.
Honey, you are great. You would keep working.
déchiré la feuille aujourd'hui. Okay, so let's watch the trailer. Is anyone there? Okay, it's okay. I mean, I'll still go on with the schedule and we'll watch the trailer for the woman. Oh, there's a complete movie? No. I don't think we need to watch the movie itself. Alright, that's the trailer. Let's watch the trailer. For the movie.
Salt? Fed the dogs yet? How are things at school, kiddo?
What kind of cookie do you want? I want a little man. Did you guys say anything?
You'll see. This is our project, and it's a secret.
What are we gonna do with her?
We're gonna help her. We're gonna train her, civilize her, free her from herself, from her baser instincts. Rope. Everyone, keep your distance.
Are you sure you're not overextending?
Have you ever known me to let things get out of hand?
Do you really think we should be doing this? Do we really get to keep her?
We do.
What the hell? Okay. So. Well, I just spilled some food on my shirt. Oh fuck. Okay. I'll just finish this food since nobody's here yet. There's a lot of meat. I can't eat now. I'm so full. I'm gonna eat later. But like, at the same time, I want to finish it. Right. No free product placement. Holy shit. This is too much. Can somebody be here, please? I'm almost done. I'm almost done. Almost done for what? For nobody? Stupid. Such an idiot. Let me just continue talking to myself. And then I can try and play Valorant. It was fun shooting things yesterday. Yeah, but anyway. I am done with the food. Should be washed too. Look at this. I'm gonna eat lime. Ah. Ah. I like eating lime. Mmm. Oh. Oh, my stomach. Anyway, let's do this. This cookie is for later. I'll eat that cookie later. In fact, I'll have that cookie tomorrow, I think. This is trash. I'm coming right back. Oh, my stomach. Oh. Oh my God. I ate too much. Holy shit. I have a feeling I should charge my mouse. The mouse needs to be charged. I have a feeling that it should be charged. And where is my mouse? Oh, it's right here. And so we do not begin because there is nobody, as always. Like, all my lipstick is gone. I need to refresh it. Oh, fuck. Oh. Okay. Let's put this in charge. I'm ready to begin. But I need to put my lipstick on. Why are the people in my life so fucking weird? I don't understand. I need to put on lipstick.
Mets pas ton cookie là-bas, s'il te plaît. Parce que quelqu'un va manger.
Tu peux mettre dans le frigo, s'il te plaît. Oh shit, wait, I forgot to. Do I look like a clown? Do I look good now, Mr. Armstrong? Anywho, I will put my camera like that, lie down, and SpongeBob. Because why the fuck not, right? And I'll start talking about the movie. The Woman. So like basically, oh my god, this movie was good. I really liked it. Like, jokes aside, I actually enjoyed the movie, you know? Shut up! Why are you driving cars when I'm talking here? Oh my god, it's so disrespectful. So not hot. Should I be talking like that the whole time? I don't know. Whatever. So, The Woman. It's a 2011 horror movie made by Robert Tonino, the producer, and Andrew Van Don Houten. And the actors are Pollyanna McIntosh as the woman, Angela Bettis, Sean Bridges, Lauren Ashley Carter, and yada yada. So these are the main characters. And the plot is... Shut up when I'm talking! Oh my god! So not cute, whatever you're doing there. I just put my good lipstick on and I'm talking about a fucking movie. Seriously. Seriously. I can't even have peace in my own house. Stupid cars. We should protect the environment and eliminate cars. Use buses, everyone. Protect the environment, okay? Okay. And so the plot basically revolves around the character played by Sean Bridges, whose name is Chris Cleek. Yeah. And when I saw that man, I was like, hold on a minute. Do I know you? You look so absolutely familiar. And apparently, he's the same actor who's also known as Old Nick in the movie The Room, if you've heard about it. And it got me thinking the whole movie. I was like, so this guy, we hate him, right? Because his character is just... I'm going to get into that in a second. But basically, this man, Chris, is a family man. And I need to open the door. And I'm back. SpongeBob, my love. Thank you for listening to me, my beautiful dear darling. I know you have some stains on your eyes. I wish I could remove them, but I can't. But you know, you've always been there for me. I'm slowly going insane because I don't get enough attention. I'm like a fairy. I'm like Tinkerbell. I need attention. But anywho, where was I? All right. So basically, this guy, Chris, he's a family guy. He's a family man. He has 2 daughters and 1 son. His 2 daughters, one of them is Darlin, the very young one. She's such a cutie patootie. I love her. She's so cute. One is Peggy, the eldest daughter. She's the eldest. And the other one is Brian, and he's an asshole. We don't like Brian, okay? Just so you know, we don't like Brian. Brian is a shit face. But I'll get to that. So, the movie opens up with a couple of transition shots with fade transitions. You know what I mean? You know those like whoosh, whoosh kind of effects? For a movie that was shot in 2011, it kind of looks strange. And I also want to comment on the chosen soundtrack, which is, what? That was the initial thought I had in my head, because this is a horror thriller, and you're supposed to take it seriously. And the soundtrack, at certain moments, which I'm going to show you a couple of clips in the movie, makes you feel like, is it parodying some sort of other movie or what? And you're just wondering, like, what is going on? But then, yeah, you'll get it if you watch it. Just watch it. It's a good movie. Just the soundtrack was strange a little bit. And so, yeah, we get to the transition shots of the feral woman who's, like, very I must say, hot in a very disgusting way. She's very wild. They didn't portray it in a very Disney kind of way. The woman is pretty wild, okay? She looks dirty. Her mouth is like super fucked up, like inside, like she hasn't brushed her teeth in 50 years or something like that. She has a wound that she's trying to like clean with mud or whatever. So they didn't like make it pretty. They made it realistic, right? And at some point, the transitions show like she has a baby. There's a baby with a wolf, and then she attacks the wolf and whatever. And then it cuts to Chris and his family at a family barbecue, and that's when you're introduced to all these people. So you see Peggy, the eldest. She's sulking in the corner. My first initial thought of Peggy was that she was just going through a phase. Like, you know, those, teenager phases? I'm not saying, like, everyone is, like, going through a phase, but sometimes teenagers have those kind of phases. You know, we all had one. I had one, the emo phases. And she kind of looks like she would go through that phase of emo stuff. And she looks really sad and like, sulking all the time. And with the soundtracks, and along with the effects of the movie, the editing style, it's kind of makes it look like it. But then, you know, the ending, watch this, the ending might shock you, you know? Anyway, so we see Chris. He's a really nice guy. He's very charismatic. He doesn't have like a problem with anyone, I think, because from the way that he's introduced to the the viewer. He is helping out a woman sell her house or whatever, hugging her, and she's like, "Oh, I love you so much," blah blah blah. And then the wife, her name is Belle, is very stoic the whole movie. And in the beginning, you don't really understand why she's so stoic, unless you've been through like abuse or whatever. But yeah, you just look at her strangely because of the way she's like so robotic and so aloof to everything, because she doesn't react, like she looks like she's drugged all the time, you know? And in my head, I thought the guy was actually drugging her, you know? But well, after we get to that, he was not. He was not. She's just like that. She's just like an aloof character and whatever. And so, what happens? At the barbecue, we also are introduced to Brian, the middle child, who is also very psychopathic looking. So the family is a strange bunch, except the dad. Okay, the dad is like happy-go-lucky guy, basically, from the looks of it. And Brian is like a really sadistic-looking fuck, because he sees a little girl getting bullied and beaten up, and what he does is, LeBron James, LeBron James, LeBron James. He doesn't care. He doesn't do anything. And so they get in the car, they go home, and then we get to the initial scene of when Chris goes out hunting, okay? He goes out hunting. And let me tell you, this is where because it's the beginning scenes, you don't know what to expect. I didn't go into this movie thinking of any particular thing. I just read a quick summary of what it was about, and that's how I watched it. I do not watch trailers. I hate watching trailers because I'm really good at guessing like the ending of the movie, and like who is the bad guy and what is, you know what I mean. And so I never watch trailers, and so I didn't expect like the music to be like rock kind of. Okay, let me just show you the music, the song, right? So basically, Chris is hunting. He comes across the girl, right? And then this song plays. And also, she's naked. So there are titties, okay? There's titties and gorish mud and whatever. And he has a gun and he's watching her titties. That's the whole concept. Like, am I really supposed to take the movie seriously? Because, I mean, the movie is good. I'm not saying it's not. It's just the soundtrack made it look so parodied and it just kind of reduced the meaning of. But then again, it got me thinking at that moment. I was like, why am I so annoyed by the soundtrack? Because there's a woman who's bathing, she has her tits out, and this man is watching her. And if we're to think about it, this man, the Chris, the guy, is the main character that we're following around, right? He's the main protagonist. Like, if we were to talk about, like, everything revolves around Chris. And so if we're looking at it from Chris's side, then yeah, probably he would have some kind of like this kind of music in the back of his head. And so I was like, okay, I'm not gonna criticize it. I get it. I kind of get it, right? And so, and then I initially changed my mind after this because you'll see why. And so Chris is like, oh, wild woman, it is my duty to civilize her because I like women in my basement. So he goes to the family, and this is the first time you get a taste of what kind of a family man he is, because what he does is... Hello. Welcome back. What he does is basically tell the family to get their shit from the cellar or whatever it is in the farmhouse. And when Peggy, the eldest daughter, asks, like, why are we doing this? He's like, because Daddy asked you to. And when someone says that to me, it gets my blood boiling, because who the fuck is Daddy? Okay? It just angers me so much. And at that moment, that one sentence actually, like, was like a gateway to how you're going to see the scenes unfold. And so yeah, so what happens, okay, so then he captures her, right? Puts her in the cellar. Nobody knows about the woman yet. The family doesn't know about the movie. I mean, not the movie, the woman. Goodness. Well, I mean, it's kind of funny because, you know, the woman is the name of the movie, so probably they wouldn't know about the woman, about the movie, because technically they're in the woman. I mean, the movie. Yeah. Yeah, so he's attempting to civilize this feral young lady who's having her tits out everywhere, and he's like, titties, oh my god, I love me some titties. And so yeah. And then we get to the side stories that revolve around the family, right? So the kid Brian, he's very, all of them are very emotionless, and it gets you wondering, who is the vampire in the family, you know? Who is the most happiest in the family that everybody else looks drained as fuck? If you have that kind of person in your life, you better get rid of them. Trust me, you're gonna be more happier. And so the Brian, the asshole, he gets beaten up beaten up, not beaten up, but beaten by a girl in basketball. And because he's like, oh no, a woman bested me? Oh no, I must do something about this. He goes, chews the gum, puts it in her comb, and it gets stuck in her hair, which is the most strangest thing anyone could ever do. Why won't you check your comb? Don't you pull out that little hair in the comb before you comb your hair? Really? It's so dirty. Don't do that, girls. Ladies, listen to me. You always should wash your combs, okay? Make it clean because it's always all in there, and it gets dirty. And so I was like, stupid bitch, she deserved it. This 8-year-old girl who didn't look at her comb before combing her hair. Anywho, and then we get to see Peggy in class. And, okay, I need to show you this video. This is just absolutely amazing. All right. Hold on. Okay. So this scene I have to show you. I'm gonna.
Alors, quelqu'un peut me dire ce qu'est un triangle scalène? Un triangle qui a 3 côtés inégaux? Oui, c'est ça, mais tu as encore oublié de lever la main avant de répondre, Jackie. Désolée, mademoiselle Ratton. Quels sont les autres types de triangles? Pouvez-vous me les nommer? Peggy? Tu prends des notes?
Okay. So initially, this scene kind of gave me the wrong impression because of the soundtrack. I'm getting back to that. Because I was like, okay, I'm gonna forgive Chris's like soundtrack version of him seeing the titties, and it was a magical moment for him and whatnot. But this part, it made me feel like Peggy was going through an emo phase, but also maybe she was a lesbian hiding her crush for her very hot young teacher. Because initially you're introduced to the teacher with a shot of her legs, and then it goes up to her and she's catwalking, and then she looks slowly back at the camera and she's like, what are the types of triangles, say? Do you know any triangles, my students? And you're like, wait a minute, what? Okay, so this must be it. But the teacher initially has a very different idea, which is the most strangest idea that any teacher could have, right? Because as a teacher, you look at your student, and the first thing you think about is like, oh, they're acting different, depressed, maybe they failed a test, maybe their parents yelled at them, maybe they were grounded, or their friends, or someone broke up with them and whatnot. But then the teacher is like, no, I saw you, and I think you might be pregnant. What the fuck? She could possibly have an emo phase, dude. She's like 16. But how did you come to that assumption that because she was sad and not attending to classes properly, because she could be having a normal depressive episode? And she's like, no, I think I looked at you. I've been looking at you. You're wearing baggy clothes. You're walking around all mopey and shit and crying and like, you don't have the energy to do shit. You must be pregnant because women don't do that. Women are always happy and charming, and they wear tight skirts, and she's actually talking. She's actually having a conversation with a janitor and a cigarette in her hand, which is like, are you allowed to smoke in schools like that under the bleachers, talking to a janitor? What? And then she makes a joke about how she was a slut in her days or something like that. I don't know. It was the most strange. I don't like that teacher. She was just so absolutely unnecessary. And with the music, it made it also horny instead of a caring like teacher. It just made it so weird. Anyway, so she's like, what is Peggy? What is the triangle? And Peggy's like, I need to go to the toilet. And she goes. And so we get to the part where Chris is trying to make the woman civilized per se. And so what he does is kind of inspect her when she's unconscious. And then he puts his finger in her mouth for some strange reason, because I wouldn't do that, because her teeth are black as fuck and she probably smells horrible. But he's like, I want to stick it in there. I want to do that. And he does. And the woman is apparently awake. So she takes a big ham chomp out of his finger. And the scene is so intense. It was like perfect gory material that you could ever ask for. And there's the thing, it like, I don't know what kind of teeth she has, where she's like a shark, right? She just bites into it and then just lumps it, She just swallows the finger whole. And I was like, damn, girl, those techniques. Excuse me, madame. And then she spits out the ring at him in defiance, and he punches her and says, that is not how civilized people act. And I was like, dude, you just brought a random woman from the forest. She didn't ask to be brought there. She didn't want to be civilized or anything. She was happy living in the wild, not brushing her teeth, and probably her coochie hair was like super long, and she enjoyed eating that raw fish. You think she wanted to be there to be civilized? You asshole. How much more can you think the world revolves around you that you think a random woman would want to be civilized by an asshole like you? But, dare I say, there are men out there who do think that way, unfortunately. And that is kind of the message of the movie. But we'll get to that afterwards. And so, he goes. So what happens, right? Yes, he bites the finger, and his... And, of course, this is after they are introduced, the family is introduced to the woman. And... after the wait, I got stuck. The Internet Explorer in my head is kind of needs updating. Wait a minute. Right, chomp off finger, and then he punches her. All right, and then he takes the family on a field trip and says, "Hey, look, family, I brought home a woman. It's our new pet. Look at her." And you listening, SpongeBob? Good. Thank you so much. Anyway, yeah. And the family's like, what the fuck is a woman doing in our fucking cellar, Dad? Obviously, they don't say that, but you can see it from their faces, Only Brian's excited because he's a sociopath, but yeah. And so, he warns them not to get close, and the cutie little darling is just over there, just being cutie patootie, Oh my god, you should just watch it just for her. She's just such an adorable kid. And essentially, after they meet, what happens is that What happens? Oh yes, I remember now. What happens is that the lady of the house, Belle, the wife, is like, "Oh, I'm sorry, but should we be keeping a woman at our cellar?" Bam! I swear to God, that was the exact thing. He just slapped the shit out of her, and then he said, "Let's go to bed, babe." That's it. No answer, no anything, just a slap, and she is aloof and shocked and confused again. And now you get to see why she's shocked and confused, because you saw that Chris was charming man, and slowly his layers are coming apart. You can see that he's actually a sociopath or narcissistic asshole who controls the women around him. And also initially there's a little interaction between him and his daughter Peggy, and he goes into a room, he sits down like a father, right? In this scene would have been endearing if Belle wasn't slowly creeping up from behind the door to them, watching them secretly, like very secretly, like she's going to attack at any moment. And it kind of gives you the impression that, oh, he is not being fatherly at the moment. There's something else going on. You know what I mean? And for us, the viewer, we're only getting it now, right? And it still got me wondering, why the fuck would the teacher think, oh, she's wearing baggy clothes and she's moping all the time? She must be pregnant. We, as the viewer, are only realizing that, oh, Peggy might be, because of the way she fears her father, she might have been abused by him, right? And also, to symbolize this, I will show you this scene that you should probably view. So, this, okay, like, look at it. Let's watch. So, if you see this candle over here, this is a very great symbolism that you will later see in the movie. And this is her room and Darlin and Peggy's room. This is Peggy right here. She's listening to sad music and, you know, moping around and whatever. And so, yeah. So we get a glimpse of her fear towards her father, and you're like, oh, okay, he's definitely abusing her, right? And not in a physical way, but like in a sexual way, right? And yeah, so after that, the next day, Chris goes to work. He's a lawyer. He has a secretary who he flirts with, and the secretary's like, "Oh my God, what happened to your finger? Oh my God, you look hurt." And he's like, "Oh yeah, just a sweet smelling lady bit off my finger." He makes a little joke, and I was like, "That woman hasn't washed her armpits in years, ever since she was born. What sweet smelling lady are you talking about?" And of course, yeah. And then they get to obviously showering the woman, right? And Belle is watching Chris rub her titties, you know, because that's what he's into. He likes feral woman titties, apparently. That's his fetish, if there is a fetish like that. And so he's rubbing it all over her, and then Belle, at that moment, you get to look into the character, the person that she is, because she is obviously living in an abusive relationship. And for the first time, you see her communicating with the woman, because one is symbolically chained in a marriage that doesn't want to be, and another, the woman is literally chained and being held captive by this man. So this man has, everyone is a prisoner, right? And I also noticed in a scene, the first time that the Chris, oh my god, the man, the guy, right, the asshole, introduced the family to the woman, the little girl and the bell, the bell, was wearing the same dress. So I thought to myself, symbolically, that meant that they were both aloof characters who had no say whatsoever. The Chris, the man, the asshole. Yeah, exactly. The Chris, the man, the asshole. Yeah, definitely. And yeah, so the God, I'm so bad at talking. When I have so much to say, that's why my mouth like doesn't move correctly. And so you get to have like a glimpse of, apart from the candle symbolism there, the dresses both symbolize, I think, at least that's how I defined it as, they both have no say whatsoever, because one is in the very younger spectrum. Thank you very much. One is on the very youngest spectrum. She's like literally so young to understand what is going on around her. She's too innocent. And the other one has been so abused and berated that her abuse has gotten to her head. She cannot do anything. She's blocked. You know, when you freeze, you have a freeze response. So she's constantly in a response of freeze. And yeah. And so after they bait the woman, at that moment when they're staring into each other's eyes, Belle has the opportunity to actually save her. She takes up a wooden stick and she goes slowly, and you're like anticipating, waiting, you know? And then I had to check if the movie had ended yet, because that would clearly indicate the ending. I was like, oh, okay, it didn't end yet, so obviously she's not gonna do this, right? So what she does is that she warns Chris that she might escape, because the thing, the woman is chained like this, right? And so there's like some stuff over there. It's like over there, and then that place has like the whole, there's a mechanism basically, and she was like pulling on it and whatever, and so yeah, she's trying to escape and whatever, and her wrists all fucked up, and she's like, oh, Chris, look at her, she's gonna escape, here, have a stick and beat the shit out of her like you did to me, you know? And so Chris is like, oh, thank you, darling. And what? And what? Yeah. And so, as a punishment, Chris says, I'm gonna make her shower with pressure, like water pressure, you know, that those water, the things that come out like, you know, that you use for cars, that you shouldn't probably use on a human skin. And so he's like, yeah, I'm gonna use that on the woman. And initially he asks the help of Peggy and Belle, of course, to wash the lady with the water. And the woman is hurting, she's screaming around, and Peggy is like, stop, please, stop, don't do this. And she closes the water, and the woman, you can see that she's grateful, and at that moment, that's like the way they connect with each other, whatnot. Of course, the lady also looks at her before the water thing, and she's like, I don't know what she said. She speaks in her own language, and from the way she said it, the way the eyes move, she's like, I know you're pregnant. Pregnante? I know! And then, yeah. And so Peggy goes inside. Belle gets her dressed up. And after that, that's when you see the candle symbolism come to life, because Chris says, "Let's go to bed, darling," again, very creepily, to Belle. And she's like, "Yes." And when they're sleeping, he gets out of bed, he takes the candle, he goes to the cellar, and he rapes that woman with the candle. That's the moment you should realize that, so he has a candle fetish as well. Okay. Yeah, and I'm telling you, this is like it's many layers. The guy is so fucked, and you're not supposed to like him. You know, you were supposed to hate him, and also the actor. He played two roles kidnapping women. I don't know, but he plays it so well. Like it just makes you want to like, oh, just beat that son of a bitch up. You know what I mean? He's such a good actor. And so during the scene, obviously the Brian, can't stop saying the Brian. I think it's the French thing. The Brian is watching from the hall, and he initially reenacts that same act on the woman after he is gone. And Peggy is obviously has not gone to school. She's at home, and the teacher is like, "She's a pregnant. I must call the parent." And the teacher was just so unnecessary. I don't even know why she was there. Most of the time, she was just doing some weird shit. Like, whatever. I thought she would be the weird lesbian crush, you know? But yeah. And so the kid, the Brian, he takes the pliers and like the nipple off, you know? And so Belle is like, "Your son is a rapist just like you. I will not take any of this shit. I am leaving you. I'm taking our daughters." And then the guy is like, "Oh shit, my wife is gonna leave me. I must show who's the boss." So he's like, "Your only sin is anathilmol." What was the word? Wait, I wrote it here. Animatolphia. Anophthalmia. Anophthalmia. And so I had to Google it. I was like, what is anophthalmia, right? Anophthalmia is a disease, I don't know, a disfiguration of the face, or the basically you don't have any eyes when you're born. So your children, the child you have initially has no eyes, and that is what anophthalmia is. And so you're like, okay, what does that mean? And of course, I forgot the most important aspect of it, because you should watch the movie, obviously. Apart from the soundtrack is shit. You can hear the dogs. There's dogs everywhere, okay? There's a couple of scenes where the kids are going to feed the dogs, and you kind of hear the dogs barking at a certain amount of time. And in the end, right, so Chris is like, "Your only sin is that," and then he bitch slaps her, and he hits her, and she's unconscious. And at that exact moment, our beautiful lesbian teacher walks in. She's like, "I called, but nobody answered, and I was so worried for Peggy because she didn't come to school, and I wanted to, you know." And Belle is in the kitchen. You can see her from the sitting room. And she's sitting like this, okay? Well, she's unconscious, but she's like this. And the teacher is just so stupid. He doesn't question it. So she's like, what happened to her? And he's like, "Yeah, she's just not feeling well." At that moment, I could have said, like, she has narcolepsy, that she falls asleep at like sudden hours. But he's like, she's not feeling well? That doesn't look like she's not feeling well. God damn it, you came to check in on the family. You better check what what that woman is doing, right? She looks strange. Like, if he had said, oh, narcolepsy, I was like, oh, yeah, okay, I know what that is. They do fall asleep randomly, you know. Initially, he's like, why the fuck did you come here? And she's like, oh, I just came because I was worried. And he's like, oh, are you accusing me of raping my own daughter? And I was like, okay. All right. And of course, it is a very strange movie, but I loved it. It's perfect. And I was like, okay. And then the teacher's like, okay, just like me. And so she tries to get out of the house. He beats her up, and that's like when everything falls apart, right? I think this scene was perfect in the way that they showed in the cinematography. The directing choices was very good in this very ending scene. It was full of thrill and horror, and you could feel the anxiety coming from the scene. So he's like dragging her by with a rope through her hands towards the dog shed, and initially you come to realize that in the dog shed there are not only two dogs, but there's also one girl with no eyes. And that is what he means by your only sin is anophthalmia. Anophthalmia. Right. Anophthalmia. And the reveal, she eats the lady's neck, and the lady is just screaming and dying at the same time. I hate that scene. I think the initial scene of him dragging her across was like really very well done, because there's also a close-up shot, like rounding close-up shots of Chris yelling at Peggy, you are nothing, and you can see like the switch, because in the first moment when he was in her bedroom, when he even was being fatherly, he was like, you're so beautiful and pretty and blah, blah, blah. But now he's like holding her by the neck, and he's like, you are nothing, you are shit, you little fuck, you're you know. And Peggy's just crying and all that, you know. And she is pregnant, by the way. The lady was right, you know. I just think it's still a strange choice to choose. And what happens is that as the teacher is getting eaten alive by the dogs and one dog daughter, I guess, the dog daughter, Peggy goes down, sets the woman free, and this is the redemption arc that you're waiting for. The woman gets out of the cage. Belle, at that very moment, is awake, and she walks there. The woman bites her face off, flings her into the air, takes a chainsaw, something like a chainsaw, I'm not really sure, and goes into the shed, chops up Brian in half. Chris, because he's panicking and he has a shotgun in his hand, mistakenly shoots his hand, and she takes that as an opportunity to plunge her heart directly into the body and just pull out his heart and eat it right in front of him. I don't know if he was alive to see it at that moment, but it was such a beautiful scene. She was just like, and she's just with Chris's heart, you know? And you're like, yes! Yes! This is good! That man deserved what he got. And then she goes out. And also, the dog daughter, yeah, justice wins. The dog daughter is out of her kennel. And she's just like a dog. She's like, you know? And the woman feeds the dog daughter some of Chris's heart. Peggy is trying to escape, and Darlene, the little girl, they had a little bonding moment between Darlin and the woman in a with a music box. She was like so sweet. She's like, when I'm in distress, I like to listen to this song. You should listen to it too. And it was like a sweet moment between them. And so when she comes out, you get to realize that that's the sister, because she's like, oh, it's sister and the lady in the cellar, you know? And so the woman does that to the little girl, and she licks it, and it's blood, you know? And she's like, it was so strange. And then she gives it to the Peggy. Peggy's like, bitch, I ain't doing that. I'm not gonna go for that. And then she says something like, you know, in her wild, feral tongue, apparently. And then she takes her by the hand, and the dog daughter is following, and then Peggy also follows them, and fade to black. And that is the end of the movie. I'm sure I missed some of the parts, but I kind of got like the symbolism and whatnot. Initially, what destroyed the experience for me was the fact that the soundtrack was just so atrocious. It was just so parodied. So I'm gonna give it 7 chicken drumsticks. Also, the editing took 1 point out for me, because the fade in, fade out thing just doesn't do it for me. 2011, I think you could have gone with jump cuts. It would have been more serious, at least. The overall message is misogyny and how it affects people around. Because initially, the man, Chris, the asshole, he's this all righteous guy who should share his wisdom with everybody. And initially, the women in his life are miserable because he doesn't value them. He thinks they're his workers. He treats them as such. And you can also see that in the way that Brian is acting, because Brian is just a kid. He doesn't have the kind of he doesn't have that kind of initial how do I say, personality. He's just impersonating the only man that he has a connection with, and that's his father, right? He does exactly what his father is doing. In fact, before his nipple crushing scene, the asshole, before he was leaving, he said, "Don't do anything I wouldn't do." And so Brian took this literally and said, "Oh, so he raped her, right? So I'm gonna do the same thing, because that's like what men do, apparently." And in a way, when you're watching this, you kind of feel sad for Belle for the way that she got treated, because her fucking face got like eaten, you know? You're like, oh, that's sad, because... But then also you get to realize that, oh, Peggy was molested and abused and got pregnant by her own dad because her own mother knew and did nothing. And so you're like, oh, okay. She deserves this. She deserves this. It's sad, heartbreaking, and at the same time, very fitting end for her. Abuse is something that renders you helpless, but at the same time, it also makes you an abuser if you are left untreated. And so, yeah, this movie was really good. I recommend it. 7 drumsticks. Chicken drumsticks. And that's it for me. I don't have anything more to say. ate too much. Oh, could it be taken symbolically, losing one's face just literally this time? When you say that, yeah, I mean, if you think about it, because you can say that about like a lot of idioms, because you turn a blind eye, because only half of her face got like destroyed, and so she was lying like that, with her good face on show, but her fucked up face was like on the ground. So I guess that could also be a symbolism. I never thought about it that way though. It was very just so violent and gory. If you get triggered by these kind of movies, you shouldn't watch it probably, but the savageness and the violence that the woman portrayed was very deserving and very right. And apparently this movie is not just one, it's a trilogy. This was like the sequel to the movie called Offspring by the same director. I'm not sure, but Josh Ketchum was his name, is the writer of these books, and yeah. And so the movie's initial premise is that there's a cannibalistic tribe that is living in the forest, and she was like the last remaining daughter or like woman amongst the tribe's members and whatever. And yeah. Whew. Also, one thing I read from somewhere is that apparently in the beginning when we're shown the baby of the woman, it's actually the woman's own baby who got eaten by the wolf. And so that's why she attacked the wolf, to get revenge or something, which kind of shows to us the idea that this woman is not just like a wild feral thing, it has a sense of family and integrity and justice. So yeah, because in the end, it doesn't attack like the children, like Peggy, for example. It can, even if Peggy doesn't accept her invitation to be a part of her tribe, she can see that Peggy is a mother just like her, and she doesn't attack her because she initially helped her escape as well. So yeah, you don't have to be by my side, but the fact that you helped me out is like enough for me to not like. We're gonna call it truce. That's the kind of attitude she has, basically. Whew, I talk too much. I need to get some water. What do you think? Did I convince you to watch the movie? Finny? Can I call you Finny? Or should I call you Homo? It's like, oh, Sipuli. I don't know how to read that. Wait, let me check Google Translate. Maybe. Yes. Sipuli. Sipuli. I don't know. I initially said Finny because you're from Finland, but I don't know. It just came out. Do you have a movie to recommend me? You should follow me on Twitter, and if you want to recommend me a movie or something, you can write me there. Oh, that's great. So I can watch the gore and explain to you, and you can just be comfortable without like watching it. I mean, next week I'm planning on talking about Pulp Fiction. I haven't watched it. I tried watching it once, and I fell asleep after 15 minutes of trying to watch it, and I woke up. Oh, Winterbird, welcome! Yes, you're too late. I just finished the movie. I just finished talking about it. We were talking about the symbolism and whatnot, and yeah. But you watched it already. That's what you told me before the stream started. So it's okay. It's okay. Do you remember it? Like generally speaking? Do you know the several symbolisms placed in the movie? For example, the candles, the dress, um, the face being bitten off. Aw. Well, it's gonna be on the page. You can just like, yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, I know. I should have. Well, I did announce it on my Twitter as well, but I don't know. Well, it's gonna be next time. There's always gonna be next time, right? Next week, I'm gonna talk about Pulp Fiction. By the way, I will probably write it on my Twitter again. I hate using fucking Twitter, but I have to apparently to do announcements and shit like that. So, yeah. Is there like a movie that you would like me to watch, perhaps? That. Oh my god. Really? You don't know? Yeah, I mean, it is an indie movie. Oh no, oh yeah. Oh, totally, it has meaning. The whole movie is a symbolism of misogyny and how it is passed down from like parents to children. Whether it's the woman being compliant and teaching the daughters to stay quiet, or the father being violent and passing that to his son to be violent as well by protecting him when he does something wrong. And there's also, I don't know how much you remember of the movie, but there's also a scene where there was a candle scene that shows how. You see, this is the thing I like about movies. They do like to show gore, but in such sensitive topics that could almost not, like, almost hit realism, with especially with sexual assault and domestic violence and whatever. The fact that the director chose to use just a single candle that was in Peggy's nightstand, and she was staring at the candle, and at that exact moment her father walked in and gave her the big, oh, I love you, my daughter, you're such a beautiful woman, you're so nice. And then the mother, who was watching them from the beneath the door, like behind the door, like the open door basically, the entryway, like creepy, like this, you know. It actually puts more pressure, because it's more horrifying to imagine it in your head, because it's so unbelievable that even your head is like, it gives an error, you know, like how can a father do this to her own daughter? It's like unbelievable, and they don't even show the thing. You just take that meaning from just a single candle, and you get to realize that after he goes down to the cellar to the woman to rape her with the candle. Okay, I will. I can show you, I think. Like, all right, look. You see this? You see this candle? Okay, I'm gonna play it. All right. Look. Peggy is staring at the candle. And he is staring at her, which is so fucking creepy. But you don't realize this, that it's creepy, because the mother is not here yet. So it's just like, oh, fatherly love, right? And so, look, she's so uncomfortable. He's talking to her. And then the mother, right there. Look at the scene. This is magnifique. It's such good directing. I loved it. Yeah, and that's it. Yes, that's the thing. That's what you realize, because all of them, even Brian, looks so dead and zombie-like. Like especially the woman, Belle. Even when she's interacting with her daughter, her face says nothing. She has no energy whatsoever. She doesn't have any energy. The last energy she has, she uses to like fight against him, or right before she gets beaten up. But even that is like it has no meaning, because she gets like bitch slapped, you know. I'm gonna get some water. Hayır tamam abi, ben geldin mi dedim sandım. Gelmişsin, dikkat et. Yiyeceğim. Ah, bir şey yok mu? Go sleep, good night. SpongeBob, yes. He's my only friend. SpongeBob SquarePants, who lives in a pineapple under the sea. SpongeBob SquarePants, who is yellow and pours and square is he. Or something like that. Maybe I'm wrong. Is that the movie with the button and the woman who gets a like a cursed item or something? I think I've seen that movie. Wait a minute. I think I've seen that movie. I spit on your grave. No, I haven't seen it. You know, the thing is, I don't really like movies that torture women a lot. Okay. It has a lot of gore and like physical torture. So the thing is that that's what I was going to say. Initially, I do not really like when male directors go way ahead and just portray movies that have violence against women just because they want to have violence against women, you know? Like some of the movies that they portray is just unnecessary, just because they want like women to get tortured on screen. And there's no purpose behind it. But the woman made it so that the main character is not, even if it says it's a woman, she's not really a woman because she doesn't seem humanistic at all. So for her to get tortured, you are kind of empathizing with the feral woman, but at the same time you can recognize that she's actually just like an animal, very savage, you know. She doesn't care. And so you don't take her as a woman. You take her as a wild feral character. Yes, but in the end of this movie, the main woman character tortures and kills other men. Yeah, I'll watch it. I don't know if it. I don't know if it would. Yeah, I don't like it. I just don't like those kind of movies. Yeah, I'm sure it is. It's just like I said, like some of the torture elements don't have a specific purpose. They're just there to please people because they like seeing fucked up shit happening, you know? And as much as I admire horror, the horror genre, like, you know, I love like Hereditary or whatnot, you know. I think it should have like a specific, especially with horror, it should have a theme that is being discussed. Like, the woman has misogyny, Hereditary is talking about trauma and grief, you know. Midsummer is also talking about loss and grief and how you deal with it. Oh, it's from a real story. Oh God, okay. I think I'm gonna watch it today, then. Okay, I'll watch it today, and we'll see. We'll see about it. But I was initially thinking of watching Pulp Fiction first, so I will watch it and then I'll see if I'll add it to my list of movies I want to talk about. Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Oh, you meant like it's if it would like if the movie was from a real story, it would have been more fucked up. Is that what you meant? Okay, I'm sorry then. I'm sorry, I misunderstood. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You were just saying in general. I'm sorry, I misunderstood. Yeah. I hope my camera quality isn't that bad. I ordered a ring light soon enough, which will initially give me more proper lighting. I know I look like I'm in an asylum, basically. I'm not. It's just my room. Probably add some more drawings here so that it would look more less crazy, I think. I don't know. More creative, I guess. My God. Haunting of Sharon Tate. There's a lot of movies called Haunting of something, right? Haunting of Hill House, Haunting of the what was it called? Haunting of Bly Manor, right? Let's see, Sharon Tate. It is pregnant with director Roman Polanski's child and awaiting his return from Europe. 26-year-old Hollywood actor Sharon Tate becomes plagued by visions of her imminent death. Oh my God! They made a movie out of this? You know that Sharon Tate it's, yeah. Roman Polanski is currently here. You know that, right? And Roman Polanski is the director who directed The Pianist. And no, it wasn't The Pianist. Wasn't it? No, wait, it wasn't The Pianist. Wasn't it The Pianist? Who was The Pianist? Yeah, it is Roman Polanski. Yeah, so he raped the little girl and then ran to France. Well, he's here now. Don't know where, but I hope I don't meet him. So disgusting. I kind of want to interview him, but at the same time I don't. The bell is ringing. Yeah, so that's it for today's Film Talk Friday. I will see you guys later. I think I'm gonna do a Valorant stream after like a few hours as well. But we'll see about that, you know. For now, thank you for watching. Thank you for connecting. Thank you for writing stuff, and I'll see you guys another time. Bye, my fellow chickens. Below, below.